Hi guys, welcome in. Michael here with Viral Funding Solutions. Happy Friday. This will be a very leisurely video. I won't keep you guys here for long. This is live, we're running, just got started. And I want to say welcome. Appreciate you all for enduring and making it through the week. You guys are rock stars. You guys are setting everything up on fire and continuing to put out fires. These problems that keep persisting every day, finding solutions to small, medium, and bigger problems. But at the end of the day, you're able to rest your head on your pillow and be thankful that you were able to be more quote unquote aggressive in your day and very appreciative of it. So again, this is a leisure type of video, nothing scripted. I know I'll speak a little bit about the EIDL, PPP, employee retention, credit, and a few programs. Maybe a few of you who come in here, if you're watching here on TikTok, I have a few of you that I have responded back via email, so make sure you guys look for that. And the best way to get a hold of me if you're asking before I get started is by filling out a questionnaire. It's literally going to take you no longer than 30 seconds. If you have everything there, literally it's not a lot. So you fill out these form fields, and this can be found in my bio or in the description if you're watching this perhaps on YouTube or elsewhere. And what happens is you'll get a very personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options that are very thoroughly broken down from the intro, personalized, and then customized, and then it shows you into the different types of services. I break down each and every one of them, which ones you qualify for and which one would be your best one, the qualifications, how it works, some numbers if necessary, qualifications, and then I have some pro tips, pro material throughout the whole content towards the end, and then there's a conclusion with some stuff that I would recommend you do as a roadmap and where to get started, as well as some bonuses, some stuff that nobody else can give you guys. Pretty cool stuff. So that is all in there. I just wanted to get that out of the way. I know I didn't want to do it right in the beginning, especially if you haven't watched me in the past. But I get submissions every single day, so keep them coming. And this is a one-man show, so just so you know, it's me who's working these files. It's not a robot. I had an individual today, first few words out of his mouth, so you're not a robot. No, I am not. I'm not a machine learning system. I almost wanted to say, like, I am not a robot, but I didn't. I held back. And it was quite funny, and then we got into a little bit of personal stuff, and then a little bit into the business, and then that's when we tackled it. But once again, Joey, you're letting me know that Massachusetts is the most educated state in the country. And why is that, by the way? So happy that you guys are here. Welcome in. And again, we're just sitting back. What I was doing just before this, I'm waiting to hear back from one of my underwriters and one of our officers. There are quite a few people who have offers on the table, and I just want to make sure there wasn't a typo in one of his offers. I'm seeing a daily payment, and then I'm seeing what it would look like bi-weekly, weekly, and then on a monthly repayment. And if this were their only offer, and when I did all the calculations myself here on what it would look like rate-wise and a little bit more math. So that is taken care of. I'll just be reaching out to them likely after this, after I get an update. But it's sunny here. You can't tell, but the sun is coming through the window. The blinds are open. And I hope to get out of here by maybe 3 or 4. I'm going to work on some questionnaires after I get a hold of a few people on their offers. And then I'll take a walk and then start jogging. That's what I'll do on my Fridays. And then come back here, shower, get ready for the evening, see what I'm going to do. UMass, University of Massachusetts. Nice. Yeah, so I just want to learn why you keep bringing this up and so forth. I know you said this the other day. I think it was yesterday. You said the same thing. I think the exact same words. I'm not sure if there's something more to this. Perhaps you're just trying to make us known to it. I don't take it as any harm or anything. Just so you know, it's cool. From Massachusetts, yeah. Hear a lot about schools in Massachusetts, in Boston, etc. I know that's a great place that I would like to go and visit one day. I know I've had clients there. I've had family and friends go. Very like monumentous and a little bit more of a historical, not, I don't want to put it older fashioned, but it could be. It just would be a good place to go and visit. I've been to New York. about 2 to 3 years ago. That was one experience that I will never forget. Not just being in Times Square, but everything. Like, I was just so absorbing of everything and not even saying a word sometimes because I was just so in awe. You see one building there, and then you see another building to your left. Oh, there's an H&M building. There's the Empire State Building. And it was just amazing. I don't know, have you guys been there to New York? I'm sure if you're from Massachusetts, I'm sure you've gone through the East Coast. But that's the place I would like to go and visit again. Maybe for a New Year's, to go in there for New Year's. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I've just been hanging around. I've been communicating with a few people. I have plenty of questionnaires being submitted, so I'm going to be catching up a little bit more here. I have to get on it. And then I'm going to be doing more of them tomorrow. So if you guys would like to get those in, please do so. Let me see. Who else do we have? We have Wolf Dog, welcome in. Joe. How are you doing? Mr. Will is in the building. If you guys have any questions on business funding, please feel free to open up about it. Not exactly. So EIDL loans are completely separate from everything. Like all other loans, SBA 7As, 504s, private lending, non-private lending options. We just had this discussion with a business owner earlier in the morning. Like the topic of the conversation was how disruptive it's going to become. You think it's bad now. You know how many people were trying to get their loan forgiven? How many people are trying to get it deferred? You know how many months already have been given? On top of that, people still want more funding. Like people that didn't initially get it, but people who already received it, received an increase or not. But so many people are unaware of how can I even make this repayment. A lot of business owners are getting themselves in a huge amount of trouble because there's too much overhead. The reasoning behind COVID relief and the EIDL loan is because you need it to sustain your business, not to exactly grow and expand it. Perhaps that's a secondary use or third. But your frame of mind, it will always be expenses. Will always be, how do I stay up afloat? I received $200,000. It's sitting in my account for 30 years. Great. But when I talk to a business owner and they come into this world, when they step outside from the EIDL loans, and I ask them, what do they need their funds for exactly? I don't. That's the answer I get. They'll tell me something, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're not strategic enough about how you're using your funds. You used it this much, and then it just sits there. You're just going to accrue interest over time if you're okay with that. Keep a lower repayment. But when it comes to consolidation, when it comes to all of these little confined puzzle pieces, these are like, think about like you're putting a little puzzle piece together, even little or how big it is. There's so many little pieces and you're like just trying to figure out. And then you pick up another one and put another one. That one doesn't work. So that's what a lot of people are trying to do with the EIDL loans right now. It's like galore. And maybe in the future, maybe it'll be something more open too. But, with deferments and as much as they can do, it's more than enough, believe me. The way they've been giving government funding, I mean, that should be more than enough. The problem is business owners don't understand how to use this money. They understand it to a degree, short term. Maybe it's not a return on their investment in the short and or long term. But they don't know what they're going to do 2-3 years from now. They just know it's sitting in their account. That's not properly sound. That's not having a financially sound business. If I knew this season attacked me this way, I know that in about 3 years I need to be prepared for this. And I'll have the funding in case I need it for payroll, blah, 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 blah. But when do you come to a point and realize that when private lenders are looking to give you money, payroll is the worst reason you're looking for it. If they're looking at it and you're going, and I'm seeing this too, and I go, you needed $150,000 for payroll, and maybe you're using this for expansion. That's a lot of money you need just for payroll. That's going to be about 99% of it, and the other part is a 1% maybe you think we're going to take a chance on. Well, if you needed $150,000, how about we start you off with $15,000? Prove to us that you can do good with that money, and then we come back to it. That's how it works. So your use of funds is very important. Don't disregard that. The EIDL loan is a sub-program that has programmed our minds to think in the wrong ways. So when you guys come to me, and we're not talking EIDL loan, and we're talking a private loan or non-private, and we're talking about it being a medium to higher rate, or how do you get a lower interest? Not 3.75%, not even 5 to 9% if it's not an SBA loan. How do you get more realistically in the 10 to 15% if you have assets? Or how do you do 15 to 70% if you're uncollateralized? Well, what does that mean? What it means is, does the benefit exceed your repayment? Oh, I got a 38% interest. I cannot do that. I'm looking at it in APR, and then, no, you're doing it completely wrong. How are you using this money for growth and expansion? Or how are you using it to stay up afloat? Is it a line of credit? Okay. But not just, I want to sit on this money, I want to have it and use it whenever I can, dispose of it, and then perhaps they open up the program and then I get more and that's what I'm relying on. That is not a good strategy. That is horrendous. Not just terrible, horrendous. I spoke to business owners today getting $200,000 to $300,000 in funding and through the SBA EIDL a long time ago. And how they're using this money is very appropriate. They're using it for business reasons. Don't use it how you can't use it. For personal income reasons, for, well, I have money in my account. Now look at your bank statements. What the heck is wrong with this transaction? Why did you just spend a lot of money on gambling, addictional stuff, to pay off all of your equipment? Okay, nice. Let me come up here. You received $150,000. Very good. And you used it to stay afloat. Very common. At the beginning of the pandemic, yes, over 80% of the people. But nowadays, because we're a little bit, I don't want to say post-COVID, don't want to say it's dated and it's gone, but people are now using it in different formats. They're starting to see that what they put into their business operational expenses and all these things they needed for relief is benefiting them. They probably hired more employees, and so they have to sustain their business now, and they need to find a way to grow and expand it. So they're using some of that funding. But then there are individuals who are like, no way, I'm not putting an extra $300,000 of the $500,000 I have for growth and expansion in this project or projects. So what I need to do is then invest and find a private lender who can get me at least $300,000. Whatever the rate is, if it's 20%, 30, 40, whatever you qualified for, without collateral. But the thing is, what you're doing with that $300,000, you're flipping it and saying, I'm making $600K, I'm making $700K. I was already doing $200,000 a month. Now I'm doing $400,000 or $500,000. Realistically, that's the way you look at this. It's not, I need to have funding and using it unless you have a line of credit. AR lines of credits, inventory line of credits, unsecured, secure line of credits, and there are quite a few more. So it's not all necessarily about just having the funds unless you have a line of credit and you're more prepared. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now, are looking for the lines of credits. I have a lot of people who've been declined, a lot of people who've been already approved for them. The commonality I see with line of credits is your credit utilization ratio is just the highest. Your minimal inquiries, why do you have 6 to 12 already in the past 6 months? 12 months, you already have 18 inquiries? What are you doing? Are you purchasing more credit cards? Are you trying to pay off some things that require these kind of inquiries? And I can go into depth on them. Hard credit checks, all this. Debt to income ratio is just skyrocketed. You need somebody to save your business to pay off $500,000 in debt? Sorry. That's not happening. So let me go to the comments here. But pay off all of your equipment, nice. Yes, as a business expense, that's a way to do it. And so there are so many benefits to this, even when you're getting other types of business loans and what you can write off and what you can go through with your taxes. I won't get into that section right now. Maybe I'll make a separate video on it. But cool, paying off your equipment. And what type of equipment is it, by the way? And is it like a large amount of it, like that $150K you received? Is it all going towards the equipment? Sometimes I say, hey, just have a pie chart. This is what I do whenever I receive funding is, hey, I'm going to get $200,000. And I have to obviously look at everything, the bookkeeping and my my Excel spreadsheets, my budgeting, where my money's being the most allocated and what part of my business, what will I need most in so I can help retain my inventory, pay off my suppliers and the vendors, etc. So I know like 200K, I need to use this to purchase new inventory. And then the 30,000 that I'm going to get, if I had more received, I'm going to be using this to pay off some vendors. And then the rest, I'm going to pay 15,000 for some business operational expenses. And then about 10,000 of that, I need to reinvest into my marketing and my advertising. And then there's a lot more reasoning. There might be a vehicle where you say I need to put about 20,000 here, and then I have 10,000 I'm going to put out of my pocket, or I have 20,000 here that I received, and then I can get another 10,000 with my home equity line of credit. I can do it with 401k IRA, or I could do it with another form, or I have a credit card where I don't have to take out too much. I know I'm going to repay it back. I know it's a lot, 10,000. To some people it isn't, but hey, I'm making those repayments anyway. So I've shown that I can make repayments of that and even higher or close enough to it. So this is how you start thinking of how do I combine for growth and expansion. More specifically, how do I expand just by credit card usage, where I can get 10,000 here, and then I'm only using a $3,000 limit credit card of the 5 or 6 that I have right now, and I'm using it to purchase through vendors like Uline, Granger, etc. And then over time, I'm seeing in about 1 to 3 or 3 to 6 months how my business credit profile is going, and then I'm getting higher limits, not only 3,000 or 3,000 another card, but now I'm getting closer to 15, 20,000. And that's the way you play this game. Hi, Mike. How are you doing? Government flooding the market with cash and driving up inflation. Now we're in a recession. Yeah, it's just not as bad as it could be in about 3 to 6 months, but yes, we haven't even seen the worst. So I say everybody get prepared, because it's not all about the interest rates. Like the interest rates, yeah, they could go up, and that's what's going to happen, highly likely. But it's more about your benefit. Yeah, you couldn't even qualify for a 7% interest. You're like, prime rates are 4.75% now. Ah, yeah, but you couldn't even qualify for 12% or 5%. So who are we kidding? And so it's not like the interest is the factor. What it is about the term in your repayment. And so I see a lot of business owners scrambling, and it's like, because they only understand home mortgages, they only understand auto repayments, they only understand insurance, they only understand that if they get an equipment, it should be like this, but it doesn't work that way when you have a business. It's completely different. An EIN number is necessary, especially when you run a business. I mean, when you're building business credit, it's one thing to get an EIN through the IRS. That's what you want to do for sure. And if you're not building business credit, which it kind of shows that maybe you don't have it yet established, at least to some degree, have an EIN number. EIN, social security number, unless, usually, yeah, that's what we'll need. And then social security numbers usually are looked at to see your FICO scores and see how you're making your repayments, and also what is standing out, what's derogatory, and also who you are. Like, is this who you say you are? So there's a lot of reasoning behind all that. And I have people who don't have social security numbers, they're not a permanent resident, and we cannot fund them because it's difficult to say, hey, one day you're here, the next day, bye, you're accidentally gone. Like I don't want to use the word accidentally, but you know what you were getting yourself into. And so getting acquainted with all of this will benefit you. So don't even think about just running a business and then not have social security numbers, EIN. It's just, and you're looking for funding, no lender in this world will really fund you if you don't have that. And then we also, when we're going through, I'll go through the comments here. When we're looking at your state of incorporation, like I have business owners right now. I don't even know if one of them was BSing me. I think he kind of is. But until I see the evidence, I'll believe him. And our lenders and my underwriters are the same. Like, if we had that, if he was already, since he had his business, we should be able to easily find him online. But we can't find it. Something has to be renewed, okay? But we should still be able to see you listed. Why weren't you listed before? What are you trying to hide, if anything? If not, okay. Then this is a separate way. This is the way it's been. This is the way it had to change. So I see all that. You need a loan to hire new people. Very common. Success career coach. Nice. You're in the coaching business, I take it. I don't know what gave that off. Yeah. How many people do you need to hire? You already have $350K construction loan with the SBA. Nice. Way to go. That's a huge chunk. That shows a lot. Was it sufficient enough for what you needed? Maybe currently you did. Are you in a situation now where you find it a little bit difficult and you need more? Oh, 500K with EIDL? Nice. Yeah, I have quite a few people who are in the same situation. I just got off the phone with, actually, about 10:15 is when I gave him a call, I think. Missed my call and then I called him back. And yeah, he told me about the SBA EIDL. He received funding and then he got funding other ways. He can qualify through the bank in a few other ways. So if you're receiving funding from EIDL, awesome, especially when you're getting that amount. Good stuff. You are very welcome. I saw your question. If we are in business less than 1 year, can you get funding? Absolutely. So either way, assets or non-assets, EIDL, SBA, other options like that may not work because you need 2+ years in business. When we're looking at it from a revenue-based perspective with cash flow, checks, ACH, everything, not just credit card transactions like some other ones just only take, then we're basing this off of, hey, do you have 4 months or 6+ months in a business? Usually is what we want. Obviously, the more the better. Trucking, very high risk. So if you have less than a year, you maybe, I know a lot of people ask for like $1 million, 500,000. They may need it for a specific piece of equipment, which is different because that's equipment financing and we can look at it depending on revenue as well. And there may not be a minimum FICO, or there is some with tier lenders who need a 680 or so and above. But with less than a year in trucking, what are your use of funds for? This is an industry I specialized for a long time, so I know my stuff very well. And I have helped out businesses of all backgrounds and industries, just in case you guys were questioning me. I've been there, done that. I've received funding myself, so I know how it's like. Being scrutinized, it's difficult when you're trying to figure it out. I wish I had somebody who guided me and told me, hey, this is what you need to do, and didn't BS me, didn't overpromise and underdeliver. I spoke with the guy today in the automotive space, and I have his details right here, just so I know more. Yeah, these guys are BSing me. They're trying to loan shark me, and yeah, that's what it looked like. And so you have to be careful. So I'm going to go to Sakun first, and then I'll come back up here. Equipment, hire people, and grow your business. I love it. Would you say your primary use of these funds will be for equipment, the majority of it? And how much would you like to get? My laptop. Looks like my lenders or my underwriters are right now out of office. I won't get a response back. Well, okay. How much for the piece of equipment? Or is it multiple? Charger. Yeah, see, I mean, realistically speaking, you may be able to get it for equipment, but everything else you'll get a lot less. Especially not even knowing how you're doing in revenue, I could already tell with like about a year or less. Can you guys hear me? I lost connection. Please let me know. Give me a yes or like a thumbs up. I believe so. So I'm going to keep going. If you guys can't hear me, please let me know. I don't want to keep talking and nobody hears me. Lost connection. I think it's back now. So yeah, let me go into this really quickly and then I'll come back. But if you're doing that, I know we can get into the finer details and I can ask you what type of equipment because it makes a big difference. But at 500K, appreciate you, thank you. Yeah, you may need to go down the equipment, traditional equipment leasing, sales leaseback, I should say. Lease to own, rent, old, new equipment. It just depends on what you're doing, revenue, and what your FICO is. But we can go within about a year, preferably 6+ months. And if you have like 120,000 in annual revenue and above, and you're depositing a certain amount, then a minimum FICO wouldn't really be so much necessary. However, your down payment, the rates, right now everything is in demand. So if you don't have the right details, and this you can go through it traditionally as well, you're going to be paying like 30-40%. You're going to be paying 60,000-70,000 on a $150,000 truck, 500,000, paying a lot for a down payment. Truck and trailer, very common. So yeah, those are the ways to go. And without me getting more information, like I can only give you so much. But in the bio, everybody, the questionnaire, if you guys want a true expert, somebody who's not going to beat around the bush, somebody who's going to tell you as it is, and if you don't like it, that's fine. But at least you have the information, and I'm a very nice person, so I'll break things down easily. It's not like I'm aggressive. I'll be there and I'll say, hey, this is why it was like this, and what you can do, here's a roadmap I planned out for you. Whether now you take action on that, hey, I took you to the water. Now it's your decision if you want to drink. All right? I'm not going to be there over your head. Oh, here you go. I brought you a glass of water. Sure, I can do that. But at the same time, we're all grown up. So it's your decision. Do you want funding now? Are you looking for it in the future? You just wanted information? Right? See, that's the thing. And if you don't come back it up with revenue, if 500,000 is what you're looking for, and you're not doing close to that per month, or at least that's what I would say, at least 400,000. It's like going to be more difficult because you can't get a lump sum of that amount to apply it. So you have to look for non-conventional ways. You have to look at all these other formats of, hey, do I have equipment or do I have other pieces of collateral to give up, real estate, high enough commercial real estate property? Can I do a cash out refinance to a certain degree? Can I do a home equity line of credit? There are so many other ways that you can go about it. Do I have an angel investor who can help me? Everybody wants a truck. Once a truck breaks down, guess what? Somebody else is looking for a repair. Somebody else is looking for a new truck. Your truck is your revenue. That's what drives everything. So if you're solely dependent on a truck, only one, let alone one, lenders are so cautious. They will back out of a deal like there's no tomorrow. I will too. We all communicate this. We're like, no. Even before I submit something, I'll ask people, how many trucks do you have on fleet? How many do you have on ground? How many of them are just sitting there? Well, they're just sitting there because I need to hire more people, and this is what the funding is going to be going for. Yeah, but not necessarily is it because the year's not going to make the biggest difference. What makes the biggest difference is your revenue and just making sure your FICO looks good. Those are the two big ones. Sure, we can fund even startups, but what you're going to be coming down is if you don't have good credit, the payment's going to be just much higher. Revenue, yeah, we can work with it. We can find what you have out there, but it'll be a little bit more difficult. Good. You already own 3. Nice. They're all operational too. Not like they're just sitting there, because we look at that. And then I ask more deeper questions. Why are they sitting there? What's the actual problem with it? Yes, trade lines are very good. Looking to add 3 to 5 more. So my question to then you would be, and you don't have to state it here. I have the questionnaire if you haven't filled this out. If you have, anybody else watching, I should be doing that right now. Like, I want to get out of the office before 4. So I'm going to just get done with this really quick. Fill out about 10 to 15 or more questionnaires because I got to zip through them. Very customized, perfect stuff. going to help you. I think you're going to love all that. That's in that. It's a lot. But 3 to 5, good. That's what a lender likes to see. More trucks, the better. I have people who have SBA loans who have about 30 to 40 plus, but they've been in business long enough. They have a lot of contracts. They don't lose them. They don't always find a new one. They have a recurring customer base. So yeah, with a business owner who's doing 1.5 million a month, it makes sense. Good. Operational. Yeah, we can look at this even more if you'd like. I can give you more details in that questionnaire form if I haven't already, which I don't believe I have. Trade lines are very good. They're effective in saying to the business credit bureaus. I was going to start saying one or the other, but they are different in the way that they are reporting to them and the way that they stand out. So building your trade lines, especially if you're looking for equipment, a personal loan can help as well. Trade lines being built, your accounts, and it's just more trustworthy, and it builds up your creditworthiness profile. And it shows us that you can sustain the repayments and you're being responsible as a business owner. And there's a little bit more. Hi, Sabasco. How are you doing? Hi, Jose. How are you doing? Are you able to get a grant now for your business in event planning? Of course. Yeah, so grants aren't necessarily limited to a specific industry. Neither are they specialized usually for one. Yes, they can be, specifically if we're getting into like the restaurants, you can state the fact. But a lot of these grants are able to help industries of all types. You just have to find out what they're asking for, how much they can give, what probably is the probability, how soon you get in, what documentation they need, maybe a business plan. But not only a business plan, they need to know more. They need to know more about you, why you started your business, where you're going, how you're using these funds, and quite a bit more. That's stuff that I can help you guys with. Appreciate you. Thank you. So I'll leave this open for another minute or two to see if anybody has any questions, and then I'll have to get going. Scrolling up to see if I missed anything. If I did, I apologize. Hi, Obama. How are you doing? It's the real Obama? Took time out of his schedule to pop into my TikTok? Wow. No, I'm joking. But when I say specialist with grants, I wouldn't necessarily say so. Because I could be spending the time like every single second just guiding somebody in how to create their business plan. And I've done that before, believe me. I'll take some time. But I'm not specifically just focused on grants. That's probably one of my least. And it's not like it's my least favorite. It's just, it's a lot of hand-me-outs, if you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of, yes, I need to start up my business, newly established. I need it, even with newly established businesses, they just turn to grants when they don't need to. And a lot of people just don't get qualified, or they just don't get accepted because they're limited. There's always a new grant coming out. So grants have a place in my work, and I keep staying on top of what's out there and what's working. I'll even test them. I do. And then I'll update them in my grant opportunities. So there's a document in the bio you guys can get access to and learn more about this. But I'm a full, I guess they use the word full stack expert business loan broker / agent. So I do all of that. I handle the bank statements, the tax returns. I check profitability. I'll check 3 to 6 plus months of bank statements, year-to-date financials, profit and loss, your balance sheets. I do all of this, and I'll communicate with you if there's something missing, if there's something we didn't like. And so I do a lot of this before it gets forwarded over to the lender. And then sometimes these digital applications, we can see them in our back end, and I can see them more specifically if you upload them that way. Yes, so Sakun is asking here, will I reach out later or after? I don't know about right away, like as in today, but I'm going to be catching up on some. So you might be one, but I have to work on those that have been submitted some time ago. So I have to give them the benefit of the doubt first because they submitted them like 2 to 3, 4 days ago, and I still have to get to them. And there's a lot. I'm talking about hundreds upon hundreds, thousands. And it's a testament of, it's not about a popularity thing to me. I could have just a few 20 people submit a questionnaire and I would love it. I would just be ecstatic. But what I love is being able to transfer my value to others. If you're getting education, if you're understanding that this isn't just to go and apply, don't be doing that. Don't go and apply and just apply anywhere. Maybe you heard from somebody, but you have to double check with a broker. You have to go to somebody who understands the process, not just blindly do it. A lot of people do. And people still come to me and they go, oh, no, this guy's full of... No, I'm not. Like I spoke to an individual the other day, like, hey, you want to go from 8 to 15 months? That's not possible. Your credit doesn't allow you. Plus your background. There's no way. That just can't happen. You have to prove to us you can take what you can get here. And if it's a benefit, if it's not, we'll just end it right there. Does it make sense to move forward? You know how to find me. If you ever need help again, I won't shy away from you. I don't do that. I don't turn the cold shoulder on anybody. Now, if you're being disrespectful, if you're not being cooperative or giving feedback or appreciating and being grateful for somebody's energy and their time, you're just trying to use it like in the worst way possible, go to someone else. I don't want to deal with you. And that's just the truth. It's not being harsh or aggressive. That's just how this works. If you want the best of the best, you will go to the best. If you want somewhere in the middle, you want somebody who's at the end of that totem pole. I'm not saying necessarily that they're bad people, or I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing 100%, but that's the thing, 100% do they know? Oh, they told me I could only get, no. This individual, like today, I talked to the guy, they wanted you to take that advance. No, this other option is on the table. You have a credit line you haven't accepted yet. You told me with who, but I told them the actual benefits of doing it this way and what we can actually do. And so it's a line of credit. What it looks like is what you're trying to use. That makes most sense because you already have this other loan. So we'll approach it from this point of view. Now, all I need from you are these things, and then we can go from there. Yeah, for anybody here though, the questionnaire, I respond back via email. So please be looking out for it. Excuse me. It's not just submit something, it's a questionnaire. It's going to set you up for the application. This is the best thing you can do for yourself. Best, by far. The best process I built, and it works like clockwork. And so literally, if you filled out that questionnaire, you can already start your application on the thank you page. There are a list of options. You don't have to wait for me. Everything from SBA, hybrid SBAs, merchant cash advances, hybrid cash advances, unsecured term loans, equipment financing, accounts receivables, asset-based financing, secured, unsecured lines of credits. The list goes on and on. It's just going to do this to you. It's going to lighten up your day. You're going to be like, holy, like this guy does not mess around, and I don't. Sorry, guys, I keep losing connection. Can you guys still hear me? You have 2 LLCs. Nice. Angel investors. It's like anything else, you know, venture capital, hedge funds. It's anything you're working. It's like when you walk into the Shark Tank. This is probably the best way I can put it. Is they want to invest into a business that's not just going to produce to them a quick ROI. They're looking for something on a return on an investment for the long term. And whatever positioning you are, usually if you're just starting a business and you need somebody to help with capital, yeah, but they also need to see the vision. They also need to see, okay, what are my gains? What are my capital gains? What am I getting from this? What projects do they have in mind? What will their sales be? They're all based off sales. Like, what are they going to be generating? So these are all the questions that I'm asking to. And there's a little bit more. But each person you go to is a bit separate. And I have information on angel investors even more than that. I'll show you guys that in the, usually it's in the questionnaire response. Yes, for real estate, I do. I'm not going to dive too deep into this section with real estate, but I have my preferred lenders and my partners who definitely can help with purchase, rehab. Grants may be a little bit separate from that, but yeah, any loans, most definitely. Let me see here. You got to look at it like trade lines. They're like a book of business. It's like once you open up a trade line, what's being reported into your business reports, credit reports to the bureaus, it's spitting back information. It's saying, okay, we've established enough business credit through these vendor programs, and now we're able to allow more accounts that are opened up underneath your business credit profile. And then that also, what it does, it opens up more limits for spending, purchases, rewards programs, especially with credit cards when you're using them. And so it's always building out more room for you to grow your business over time. And I know I can get into that subject more specifically, but I'll just say that much. And I didn't get into also the real estate because of time. Let me go in here in a second. The car rental business is hard for an SBA loan. I'm going to be honest with you. Like if you're in the rental business, like I see a lot of declines, especially with, it can be a mixed. Used auto sales, car dealerships can go, it's a bit of that because it's combined. But if you have a car dealership and you have a automotive repair shop and a few other things combined, how you're generating your revenue, it helps your case a little bit more. Anything in the automotive space, right now, it is very difficult. As it is with real estate, it can be a little bit. It's also with restaurants by far, and probably the biggest is the transportation and trucking because of the supply chain issues and importing and then domestically, how a lot of people are transferring to that. But, you know, it's not one of those businesses that necessarily is going to get shut down or is ineligible. It's just profitability. We have to look at credit. We have to look at stability, of course. Higher revenue definitely is what we want. A lot of the times we request you to have 6 figures per month, and it can even go higher than that. And that's usually too with auto sales. So if anybody in here watching, to get the most amount, you should be generating 200,000 plus and above per month. 100,000 to 200,000, we look at it, might not get the most, but you generally want to be doing at least 200,000 a month. So yeah, we're getting into the millions per year there. How are you doing? I told everybody in here already that the best way to get a hold of me is to fill out the questionnaire on my site. It'll be in the bio. Actually, if I go through if you guys can access that, sometimes people say the link's not working. I don't know why. I've tried to get a hold of TikTok and try to change things. Sometimes it does. Maybe it's an IP thing. You gotta refresh your page and change that. But if you go there, you can fill out the questionnaire. And then I will go in through and show you your best options. And I can definitely break it down for you very well. So for a startup on doing freight partnerships, what about, let me come back up here. Oh, back on the trade lines, right? Yeah, I mean, for any type, it's multi-purpose. It's not just restricted to one. If your business, you use credit cards, however you do, credit card processing, you have customers, however you're getting paid, business credit is a fraction of credit cards, right? So you're paying with your credit cards, you're building your business credit. And there are different ways if we get into like the 0% interest for, APR, AIRs. annual interest rates. For 6 to 18 months, it's possible. And then there's some other cards out there who give you 0% for the first 12 months. And then thereafter, they charge you the interest rates of about 15 to about 25 or so percent. So be careful when you take on interest and you're paying these credit cards. Understand how much you can chew. And I know real estate investors, they love the 0% for 6 to 18 months. I love it when I help them get it, and I have family and friends who do it. And they are able to bridge the gap between fixing and flipping as well as other ways. And it's such a great way, especially like you're doing these short-term fix and flips. Let me come back up here. It's open to discussion, Levi. There's not an exact script. It's a Friday. I leave it open for Q&As, and that's about it. But I went into some topics. I can't say with 100% that you should look into the SBA without knowing your details. So it's most important that you guys submit it in the questionnaire. And I'll tell you guys, I don't even show you the qualifications. If you don't qualify, I'll show you what we're looking for and what you don't have necessarily at this moment. So let's see. Just a couple more minutes. I'm looking at my calendar. There are a few things I needed to get done about an hour ago. But I did a live on YouTube a little bit earlier, I think today. Yeah. And then it went in through my 1 p.m. post. So I had a post at 1 p.m. that didn't go through. So that I'll be probably doing right after this. And then questionnaires. So not with non-based. And I can go on and on. There are more. If you have strong credit, 680 and above on all 3 consumer credit bureaus, and then you possibly have a credit card right now that you're using with a $5,000 limit, then we can look at a credit card stacking program. You can get up to 150,000 on the back end. Ultimately, that's my favorite route. As a startup, this credit line hybrid, I would do whatever it takes to get a part of that, first and foremost, and then probably my 401k, and then I'll try to explore some of the other options if I have some annual revenue, W-2 or pay stubs, taxes. So that's what I would do. And then you have the venture capitals, the hedge funds, angel investors, private equity. The list can go on and on. Yeah, I do. Can you hear me now? I don't know why it keeps doing that. There we go. So about 2 more minutes. I think there was a typo in this. I was looking at one of the offers from the many. I think that's a typo. How are you paying back 2,322? It should be 3,322. I did the math. Just to be sure, I have to ask my underwriters and the lenders. And I see this process. And so I'm looking at it right now and I think that's a typo. I cannot Just assume it. Although the math makes sense. And not like when I communicate this with my clients, I don't want to say, hey, it was actually 320 when it was actually this amount. Like, I'm sure it isn't, but you never want to do that. Yes, funding for new business. Already spoke about that. Yeah, I won't, just for this video, guys, I will not recap. Just for energy and time. That's all. It's not like I wouldn't ever do it. It's just I did a lot yesterday on video, and then today I did about an hour's plus worth. You guys can go to the YouTube channel and watch the live on that. I think that was today. Like, it's been so much. Oh, let me look over here. YouTube Studio. Yes, so earlier today. Really? I don't even know what's going on here. Can you hear me now? So I apologize if you guys can't hear me. I don't understand. I gotta move out, but I'm gonna stick in here for now. So I guess what I'll do, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know if you guys can hear me now, but I will say this. Appreciate you all for tuning in, for taking your time and energy to spend here with me, getting a better understanding of business funding, how it works, what you need to do to move forward so you can continue to finally build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch, and doing it the right way. None of this fluff with these brokers who don't know anything. Like, literally, I'm like flabbergasted when I see some of these things. And so if you want an expert who's going to be taking care of you first as a human and then as a business second, who knows their stuff, this is the person you want to go to. And if you got value out of it, like that. Oh, did it? Okay. Yeah, so you have a few options. I'll just say it really quick. You have things like angel investors, and I can go deeper into these sections, and I usually put this in the questionnaire, who I partner with and who are my favorite lenders to deal with, how I have personal and business connections with. That's another part. But you have startup/personal loans. Personal loans you can use for business. That's a huge one. 401k, IRA financing. There's a lot of information there. I won't get started. Quite a bit. And then you have so much more. Those are just a few. The credit line hybrid is another one to go through. And that's if you have strong credit. But there's more. This is just some of the many. Grant opportunities. List goes on. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know you'll get a lot of value, and please be patient with me. Like I said, I may be the go-to guy for all of this, but I do usually do this all on my own, at least for now. And it's not about the money. For me, it's about value. Money is a lubricant. What money allows me to do is to give back. It allows me to work even harder for you guys because I know it works. But at the same time, I'm helping to stimulate the economy through you. So small businesses or big businesses, however they are what's pushing our economy forward and will through all of these hard times, like COVID being one. And so I know if I played my role in that, if I was able to say, hey, Jeremy, personally, their health, they're not stressed about anything anymore. They can go to bed tonight next to their wife and be so thankful, be in a frame of mind that they also know when that they wake up, they'll be ready to get going. They don't have to think about things that are going to trouble them. Oh, I gotta get 30,000 just to keep some people in business. I gotta pay 50,000 to this and that. Oh, shit. And so the thing is, I've been there. It's hard. Restless nights. And I know you know that if you're a business owner, especially an entrepreneur. So if I'm able to play my part and I said, hey, I was able to finally get you the amount you wanted, whether it was in the first take or not, and I knew how you were using this funding for because I worked for multiple different businesses. I've worked in a lot of industries when I was in my younger 20s. Like the truck, no, not specifically 100% trucking, but I've been around it because of friends and family. So not as an employee of, but I've been there. I know what it's like. Construction, manufacturing, warehousing, logistics roles, business management roles, and so forth. There have been quite a few, so I know the ins and outs, and I've worked with the actual owners of the companies. They brought me into their meetings, sat down with them in a room too to discuss what our plan will be for the next quarters and what we need to do. And there have been positions where I haven't been in a good job. You know, a lot of us, we start our business because we were once employees and we weren't satisfied with it. I've been there. I've been underpaid, undervalued. Well, I can't even tell you the amount of times. And then having to grow, and even if you're in a corporate ladder, like, it's just, you have to continue to work for somebody else and then having to please them micromanaging you. Now, if you own a business, of course you want to be on top of everything. You have a cleaning business and a restaurant. What type of restaurant? Cleaning business is awesome. Yeah, I'm helping quite a few of them. In fact, I have to respond back to Brian. But my cousin, he just graduated from high school. He doesn't want to, don't think he wants to go into college. I did academics and all that. And I can tell you from that point of view too, it's very useful. Go to school, go to college, figure yourself out. You never know. You don't think you're good at math. You don't think you're good at this subject because you haven't tried it. Well, I don't do good at math. Well, because you haven't put your head in it enough. I was that kid in school. Like, I wasn't genetically gifted. I was a Division I soccer athlete, but I wasn't given the genetics. Like, if you look at my dad's body type, my younger brother's body type. But what I did is I overworked everybody, and I outsmarted a lot of people. I worked hard, but I'm very meticulous. And so the way I do things, I may not have been the fastest on the field, but I became very skillful and talented over time. Didn't just appear, not genetically, athletically gifted. How did I get into the position where I got into? Because of this. I knew where I had to be on the position in my field. I knew when I had to move here. I knew when the ball needed to be allocated there, how I needed to take 1 or 2 touches, when I needed to put my head up and down, what the play needed to be before the ball got to me. I saw the whole field. I was a center midfielder, an attacking center midfielder, and then I was a holding midfielder. And so those are the ones that run the most, honestly, aside from the sides. But not to get off topic, I've always been very seeing it all bird's eye view from all perspectives. So don't think I don't. But yeah, I'm helping out my cousin right now with his website. I've already put it together. And then Google Maps is the next part, and then Google LSA, local search ads. So I'm going to be running for them. So those few components, and then Google Business Verification. I'm waiting for that to come through. I also have a digital marketing background, so that's stuff that I help with. I just don't take on as much clients as I used to because I'm focused on this. And like client work like that, it's good. It's just, they just keep checking in, and it can be very bothersome and cumbersome, and it's just not something that I want to go back into at least 100% anymore. But with business funding, that's what I'm tackling 100%. And then I also have an affiliate marketing business, a couple of them that are running that. But what specifically, if you're still around, what are you looking to use your funds for? I know I was going to be gone about a minute or two ago. Or 10. Yeah, and it looks like my underwriters and my lenders are out of office. Some of them are in the East Coast. A few of them are on the West. But if I would have had a response to that earlier, if they would have updated me, the underwriting, before noon. I replied right away. They just didn't get back to me. They're probably busy too because it's Friday. But the funding center, everything like that, kind of closes earlier, like around 3. And it's the end of the month, so a lot of stuff is happening right now. So a lot of offers and all of that. So just happy the weekend's here. I'll have to still work. Anybody else? "30 seconds. Yeah, since I didn't do as much questionnaires today, I gotta do more tomorrow. I'm probably gonna do about 30 to 40 of them. So if you might be one of them, just so you know. If not, I'll get back to you. So hopefully one day, and so forth. But yeah, I was happy. A guy today told me that I got on a call with an individual doing well per month. I'm talking millions, and I was so humbled to hear him say, and grateful, that the information that I sent him back in that email questionnaire, he said it was organized. Like nobody else does it the way you do, as effectively. And I was like, I appreciate you. Thank you. I do take my time on these, and they'll show. When you see it, you almost feel like a little flabbergasted. You'll be like, oh my God. But I direct you, and it's kind of like it could feel like you're in a maze at first, but it isn't. It's like a maze, but you're given like signs where to turn to. You're actually being shown like, here's the way to go, here's that way, here's the prize. It's pretty cool. And it's all created by myself. I built this. Depends on, there are a lot of services. So it just depends on your funding details, like your revenue, time in business, FICO, and there's quite a bit more. So I have to look at that. For the sake of time, I won't ask you. I usually like do an example, or I'll go through with a client on what I ask and what I do, but not for this video. We're kind of at the end here. But in the bio is my questionnaire, and that's where I direct people. If you want to get in contact, the best thing to do is to fill out my questionnaire on my site. And then I will evaluate it, analyze it, and then give you a proper response back. And I'll give you even some ballpark range numbers on what your expectations may be versus what they actually should be. And if they're right, it's good. I hope that helped. I know it's a generic answer, but you know, for time, and that's the best thing to do. So now I can't even reach out to this individual who I was going to ask them, tell them about their offer, if I didn't even get updated for my team. So I may have to wait till Monday, which is not what I wanted. So at least that's not on my part, that's on their part. You are welcome. And everybody's in a different situation. So you may be in a startup. Is it newly established startup, or you've had some time in business already? I keep hearing Muse in my head. You guys know Muse the band? Muse the band? And I was just watching some of their concerts. I haven't even gone to one. And that's like one of my favorite alternative rock bands. And I need to go and watch them perform. And they're going to be, I think, in California in October. So I might do that. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that for like my birthday. My birthday's on October 14th. So that would be awesome. Got to check the tickets to see if there's really anything. Appreciate you too. Thank you for tuning in and commenting. It takes a lot of courage and bravery. It does, especially if you're an introvert. It's hard to. I mean, I would like to go watch them perform. That would be awesome. You're having trouble getting a commercial cargo van. It's $16K, but you keep getting denied. And do you know why? That's the reason, yeah. You could have everything else, but there's no business credit. So if you need help building your business credit, which is what I do as well, in the bio, there's a free video series on building business credit. You'll see a couple of them from myself. And then there'll be more direction on what you should do and what I did. So that's what I recommend getting on like ASAP, if that's the only route you're going down. Good. Yes. See, we have a few people, so I'm going to keep this going. Suggestions, charger, for a business loan with no to minimal docs. Plenty. So no docs first, credit line hybrid. I said this earlier. This is a credit card stacking program where you can get in with a 680, not on just one report, but on all 3 consumer credit bureaus. And it's heavily credit based, but it's really like no doc. Honestly, no bank statements, not even with some other checks that we look at. No returns on taxes, which is obvious. Minimal time in business, all of that. And then we look at things and we can go, oh, we'll base this off of EIN instead of social security number. Pretty cool. And then with minimal documentation, here, let me put this up here. One second. I'll hold it up. With minimal documents, you have things like the cash advances. Honestly, that would be what I'd say is a merchant cash advance. A hybrid cash advance, even better, because they can allow you to go in with 3 months of bank statements, avoid a check, and the copy of your driver's license. And that's all you need. To which one? Credit line hybrid, and then you have the merchant cash advance. Or is there something before that? No, it's my fault. I apologize. It's the connection. I moved my phone, so I have to hold it in my hand. So yeah, credit line hybrid, merchant cash advances. Hybrid cash advances. Okay. Yeah, based off of that, I mean, the credit line hybrid could be the program. If you want to learn about it, it's in the bio. I think it's still there. I give you more details about it. So definitely check that out. That's what I say to everybody is right now is the time to protect your personal and business credit. Separate the two and then protect them. Be careful of dropping and going up, fluctuating. That's going to be difficult for a lender to see and say, hey, but you've been fluctuating. Sure, it's high, but what are you doing? Like, and they're being hesitant right now, especially with lines of credits are much harder to get because it's credit based, and then second, capital reserves are far less. You are welcome. Anybody else? You have 30 seconds to respond, otherwise I'm going to get going. Sorry, I heard something. So yeah, net 30s, net 45s, net 60s, net 90s, net 20s. It's all dependent on the credit card. So I don't want to get into it specifically, but net 30s definitely is what you want to be building. Like the prestigious, the better the Dun & Bradstreets of the worlds, LexisNexis, Net 30s. Keep it going. And I'm not going to get into the specifics right now because of time. I have more information on this that we can cover at a later time. So let's say 30 more seconds from that one. Welcome in. I'll count that as a comment. So every time I see somebody commenting, and I'm giving it 30 seconds right now, and if those 30 seconds elapse, I will go ahead and say my goodbyes. I see, I think you guys are submitting the questionnaires. Appreciate that. I see a couple of them right now. Yeah, I don't know about that. I see the funding amount they're looking for. And even, yeah. I mean, if you can get as much as you can first and then come back and get the most, that's the way you want to do it. Yes, everything is in the bio. You are welcome. I mean, not just anything, Joe. You want to limit it, and you want to make sure you're not just using this as an income generator in terms of this is going to help replenish me personally. There are a lot of people, especially SBA, who do that for their own personal gains. That's not how it should be getting used. There are people who use private lending options who use it to throw away money for gambling. Doesn't matter what they're making, like stocks as well. That's another component. Like I see a lot of people who, yeah, they make money from it, but it's a quick gain and a quick loss, and then you're back up again. So you see this all in the bank reports and all that. So be careful, yes, but be careful about how you're using your funding. You own a trucking company? Most definitely. Now, I also ask you, how many trucks do you currently have? Your brother has a construction company and he needs to buy a dumpster truck? Most definitely. Now, since we're at the end, maybe you're just joining me now. Usually I'd ask you a lot more questions, but because of the time, what I recommend for each and every one in here, if you haven't commented as well and you're considering this, and you want to work with a professional loan broker, got it, then what I recommend is everybody go to the bio, click the link, fill out that questionnaire, and there'll be more resources, yes, but that questionnaire, you'll see business credit building, credit repair possibly. I think I removed one. $26,000 per employee retention credit. I break that down, application process, detail per detail. It's crazy. And I don't think there's anything else out like this on YouTube. And a bit more. There's a blog that I have, but the questionnaire is the best way to go. So Joe, I would be grateful if you do that because again, time. And I would be asking a lot of questions, but in the additional notes section, I already know you need a truck. So you can state you need what type of truck. And so that gives me a better idea of what's out in the market before anything's been even submitted. So that's the amazing thing when you go through me. Like this, there's stuff that you guys don't see that I do that like just streamlines the process like that. Save you time and energy. from going through an application, or you're in the application. This is what we have to ask before you even go through that process. I've already told you, so there's nothing you're like worried about, like linking your banking account, and then bank verifications, which usually happen at the end. So that's what I recommend doing for a truck, especially in trucking. I'll say this: it's very high risk. So depending on how many trucks you have, limited amount can get you limited funding. So depends on if you're going the traditional equipment financing route, or you're just using a lump sum or line of credit, a combination of multiple for the purchase. So it can go in different ways, different FICO programs, different revenue requirements, different lenders who are looking for a specific amount of average daily bank balances. And so it's very important that I know this. 30 more seconds. You have a corp in California, okay. So where do you mainly work out of? Is it in California? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do more questionnaires tomorrow. Like today, I'm already at my schedule where I don't wanna. I'm gonna go get ready. I'm gonna go walk. I'm gonna go jog. I'm gonna do my thing. Try to get back before 4:30, maybe 4 or 5, because then I want to start my evening doing a few other things. Corp in Massachusetts, nice. What business are you in? I have my laptop with the music. Just surfing that. Typing in a specific Muse song. Not that one. You mean as in like, hold on. Okay. Let's go back to resistance then. Like as in your customer data points? Oh, for your SBA loan. And then you like your funding details that you need, as well as documentation. Hi Neo, how are you doing? Depends on the program. I can't say exactly which one. Like everybody has a different background, their industry, their revenue, net, gross, profitability. It's different for each and every single service and what the lenders want. Amazon FBA, nice. How's that business been? I didn't really get into it. Like I looked at it a lot, but I've been doing affiliate marketing, and so I'd prefer that route with the margins of informational products. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool. Most common, yeah, for inventory. That's usually what I get from people from Amazon and FBA. I have a few people actually. One of them, she is busy doing like different jobs and stuff, so she hasn't really gotten back to me. It doesn't look like she needs to use the funds at this moment. So yeah, definitely for inventory. There's specific inventory financing, but I can help you get more inventory, that's for sure. But I know it sounds a little generic, but like I said, I just can't get into it more specifically. I'm just not trying to at this moment. Like, and I'm not just saying that. I really get into it. Do you need to buy a shelved LLC? It'd help to have an LLC. Yes. Don't just be a sole proprietor. You can operate that way and it's fine, but there are more advantages, especially with business credit. An appointment is fine with me, but when these appointments happen and I don't have a questionnaire to go off of, usually what I'll say is, can you fill out this questionnaire for me first? And then let's go into the appointment if necessary. And that's usually a direct messenger. Phone calls, if it's a huge priority and it makes sense, yes, but I don't just jump into a call. That's not right. Because I get a lot of people who want me to speak to them, and it's fine. But it's not like I can get on a call right away every single second. So when I fill out these questionnaire forms, that's the best thing to do. I'll text you and I'll say, hey, I sent you an email with the subject line this and this, please refer to it, it can land in this. And then perhaps maybe a day or two passes, you're unresponsive, then maybe it makes more sense for me to get on a call with you, and then you'll ignore the phone call. I know how this goes. Oh, I don't know who this person is that's calling me who just texted me 2 days ago. Yeah, right, you don't. Oh, I'm busy. Yes, I hear that excuse all the time. Yes, you are. I get it. I'm a business owner of multiple businesses. But when is the excuses finally going to stop? And I don't pressure anybody. I just get on a quick call. Hey, you have a little bit of time to go over. I'm not going to be as specific. I sent you an email. Please refer to that. Now, whether you want to do it or not, that's your positioning. After I've explained, hey, if you try to do it your way, that doesn't always work. And I know it. And if you explain to me what your way is, I'll point out what's right and maybe what isn't. So a lot of people think they're doing it right when in fact they aren't. Yeah. So at the front level, like I have a lot more I put on my plate that I have to do on the back end. Like once you submit all of this, there's still a lot of things that we look at, and you'll be well aware of it. It's like I'll communicate this. That's the difference. You get communication. You don't give me feedback. Why should I give you? I can't do anything if there's no feedback. That's first and foremost. When you're willing to work with me, you're working with one of the easiest people to work with, like attitude-wise, communication, and so forth. But if I don't have any feedback, like today, I have somebody who's left me on read. They didn't even send me a text message. You know how bad that is? I don't care how busy you are, sure, but now 3 hours, 4 hours pass by. A little simple, like, yes, I'm gonna take some time to revise it. That's more than anything. It's better than saying nothing. But when somebody goes completely like Homer, have you guys heard me say Homer Simpson? Have you guys seen the meme? Where he goes into the bushes? Or people become Casper the Friendly Ghost? Like, you're wasting my energy and time by doing that. Honestly, like, that time I need to be using it for somebody who cares. Cares enough to just send me a text. I don't want the offer, okay, but at least, hey, you didn't tell our lender directly. Let me tell my direct lenders. Let me tell my underwriters. But because you left offer after offers on the table and you're still applying wherever you want, that's terrible. A lender will see that. You've been a part of their system and they're looking out for it. Some people, they end up turning out good and then they end up just becoming sour. So it's about attitude and so forth. Punctuality more than most. So I'm going to leave it at that.